Hey, welcome. So today we're going to lay out a really clear, super actionable roadmap. We're talking about a major career move, going from a skilled AWS engineer to a strategic multi-cloud architect, and we're going to do it in just 2 years. Let's dive right in.
Okay, so you know AWS. You really know it. You can probably spin up an EC2 instance in your sleep, and you know S3 like the back of your hand. But you might be asking yourself, all right, what's the next big challenge? Where do I go from here to really, level up?
Well, for a lot of people, this is the answer, the multi-cloud architect. And look, this isn't just about learning another cloud platform. It's a fundamental shift. It's about becoming a strategic leader. You're the one designing the big picture, making sure systems are tough, scalable, and financially smart, no matter which cloud they happen to be running on.
We're framing this as a 2-year journey, but I want you to think of it less like a simple checklist and more like a real transformation. It's about shifting your entire focus from the day-to-day, hands-on implementation to that high-level, big-picture strategy.
So here it is. This is the high-level map for that journey. We've broken it down into 4 distinct phases over 2 years. Year 1, that's all about building a brand new foundation and actually applying it. Then, year 2 is where you really start to tackle complexity and learn to think like an architect.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of year 1. The whole theme here is foundational growth, and your main goal? It's to build a strong second pillar of knowledge right next to all that AWS expertise you already have.
Your action plan for the first year is pretty straightforward. First things first, pick your second platform. Azure and GCP are the obvious heavy hitters. Second, go get a foundational certification. It's not just about the paper. It gives you a really structured way to learn. And third, and this is probably the most important part, get your hands dirty. Build something you already know from AWS, but do it on your new platform. That's how you really make the concept stick.
And here's the best part. You are not starting from scratch. Not even close. Your AWS knowledge is a massive head start because you already get the core concepts: serverless, object storage, identity management. You just need to learn the new names and the little quirks, right? You're basically just translating Lambda to Azure Functions or S3 to blob storage.
So what does a great year 1 project look like? This is perfect. A cross-cloud data sync. Why? Because it forces you to figure out how identity works between 2 different clouds, you have to work with different storage services, and you get to use a new serverless environment. It is such a practical, focused challenge that hits all the key learning goals for year 1.
Okay, fast forward to year 2. This is where things get really interesting. We're moving on from just learning a second platform to achieving true multi-cloud mastery. The theme here is tackling complexity, and most importantly, connecting the clouds.
In year 2, your focus totally shifts to the tools and ideas that make multi-cloud an actual reality. This means you got to move beyond provider-specific tools like CloudFormation to platform-agnostic ones like Terraform. It means you need to go deep on Kubernetes. It's the standard for a reason. And yeah, it means tackling the really tough stuff, complex networking, and the absolutely critical discipline of FinOps.
So what's the magic number for year 2? It's 1. Just 1. The point here is that instead of trying to master every single cloud's native infrastructure as code tool, you master one tool that can manage all of them. And for most people, that tool is Terraform. Master it, and you've got a single, consistent way to handle infrastructure across AWS, Azure, GCP, you name it.
Now, for the grand finale of year 2, your capstone project. This should bring everything together. Take an application, put it in a Docker container, and then use Terraform to deploy that exact same application to Kubernetes clusters running on both AWS and Azure. This is the ultimate test. It proves you can not only manage multiple clouds, but you can build a truly seamless hybrid application.
Okay, we have talked a ton about tech, but honestly, becoming a real architect is about so much more. You have to cultivate a whole new way of thinking, the architect's mindset. This is the piece that truly elevates you from a great senior engineer to a strategic leader. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails it. Your job is no longer just to build things. Your job is to be a translator. You have to fluently speak the language of the business, understand the budget constraints, know the capabilities of your team, and translate all of that into a rock-solid technical strategy.
And if you're wondering what that really looks like day to day, check this out. Look where an architect's time is actually spent. Only about 10% is hands-on, down-in-the-weeds implementation. The vast majority of your time is dedicated to high-level design, strategy, talking with stakeholders, and mentoring your team. It is a massive change in focus.
So to really succeed in that new role, these are the skills you have to start working on right now. You need to get the business side of things, manage expectations with executives, learn to explain super complex topics in simple terms, and, maybe most importantly, make everyone around you better. That, right there, is the difference between a senior engineer and an architect.
Okay, we've laid it all out. The entire 2-year roadmap is right here. But a map doesn't do you any good if you just stare at it. You have to actually start moving. So let's talk about taking that crucial first step.
And remember, what we've talked about here isn't just a guide to getting a promotion or a fancy new title on LinkedIn. It is so much bigger than that. It's a structured path to fundamentally changing your role in this industry, from someone who executes plans to someone who creates them. It's about becoming a real strategic leader.
The entire journey is laid out for you. The only thing left to do is start. So I'll leave you with this question. What will be your first concrete step? Thanks for joining me.